YouTube, welcome back to Plan Build Play. In this video I'll be going over a few tips for installing a EPDM rubber roof. So last fall I put a new roof on my workshop and just had a few issues with that. So I thought I'd put this video out to hopefully make sure you guys don't have the same problems I did. For this I used the Gen-Tight EPDM roofing. This was available at my local Home Depot. The only reason I chose this is because it was available locally. I did find where it was online as well, using from a different manufacturer, Firestone. It did turn out they didn't have much of this in stock. I'm not sure if they keep carrying it, so online might be another option if it's not available locally to you. I'll toss the links in the description where you can order these online. So the main parts of this roofing system are the full sheet, which I ordered in a 25 by 10 feet roll. It comes folded in half. You just cut it to length. The other parts are the seam tape, which is this. Just a very sticky material that you put between the seams of the roofing sheets. And then there's also cover tape, which you put on top of the seams. So this one goes underneath the overlap, and this one goes over the top of it. For mine, I also used a lot of silicone caulk to seal the seams as well. They do come up with some specialized sealing kind of caulk material for this as well, but I just used a regular silicone caulk instead. Alright, so here's how the roof turned out. As you can tell, it's definitely no professional job. This is the first time I've worked with this kind of material, and it has some learning curves to it. That's why I thought I'd put this video out to hopefully you won't make these mistakes. So when I did this, I actually had to replace the deck as well. You can tell there's some spots along here where the plywood underneath is not level in all spots. And this does cause some water to pool in some spots as well. Hopefully this won't cause any problems down the line, but it might end up leading to some leaks in this spot. And it does have a bit of a gap along this where it might end up tearing the roofing material. So the first step would definitely be make sure you get the plywood as level as you can and there's no gaps in it or anything like that. Next, you can see right here that there's a ridge of the material. Has a bit of the air bubble, really. So it recommends leaving the material to sit for a while to kind of let it settle. And while I did that, it was kind of a cold day, so it didn't really kind of heat up and lay flat. And this ended up leaving a big air bubble in the middle. So if you're doing this, another tip would be to make sure it lays flat entirely, and you can actually get all the bubbles out of it. So a couple other spots where it didn't lay flat entirely. I was doing this kind of late at night, so we were running out of time, and we didn't stretch this out entirely. So you can see there's a couple wrinkles in here. There's a big pocket of them right there, as well as up in this corner. So make sure you have a couple people to help you with this. These are pretty big, large mats. Mine are 10 feet by 20 feet. And it covers the entire roof in one sheet from one side to the other. So the other problem is when you get these little wrinkles, you end up getting gaps in the seams, and there's really no way to seal those very well with the seam tape and the cover tape. So here I ended up trying to channel the water away from these gaps, and then using a lot of silicone caulk to seal them as well. So on this roof there are a lot of strange little corners and angles as well. As you can tell, this one right here. I tried to get it sealed as well as I could, but one tip is definitely make sure you dry fit all your corners before you add the glue. Once you add the glue, there's really only a few seconds to position things before they start to set. That's both a problem in the corners here, as well as the where it juts out for the chimney as well. And then when I did seal these, I added some cover tape on all the seams. And then anywhere that there's a seam, I also used a lot of silicone caulk to caulk the edges of the seams. One other tip is to think about how you're going to attach the edges to the walls. Mine is actually stucco, so I can't just use the drill into it very easily. It's about 2 inches of styrofoam and then a brick under that. For mine, I just used silicone caulk to attach it. It seems to be staying pretty well. If it does pull apart, I might just add some steel edges as well, just to hold it in place and drill into the brick. One other challenge I had here was putting the material over the edges here. These are brick walls. They used to have a ceramic top cap to it as well, but the brick was deteriorating so badly I actually just removed the top cap, had to do some tuck pointing for the brick, and then ended up putting material over the entire edge. So all these here are just have some plywood over it as well, and then that's basically screwed into the brick underneath, and then glued the roofing material down to the plywood. So overall, while the results don't look the greatest on this roof, it does work pretty well. I haven't had any leaks since I added a lot of silicone caulk, and that was probably about 6 months ago. I do check it every summer just to make sure there's no tears or no seams that are opening up, and I'll just seal those as needed.
Thanks for watching and subscribe for more.